Right, guys, what's going on? Needs more drums. Back in City Skylines after a pretty long hiatus. Apologies. Work has been super crazy busy, and I'm on a big project that's due in a few days. But I actually did find some time to record at least, part of the video. So we'll see how long it takes for this to come out. But anyway, if you're watching this now, the video is out, and my schedule should be a little bit better from here on out. So have some time to record some more videos for the series. So yeah, plans today. Sorry, this is probably going to be another time lapse build just because with the limited amount of time that I do have at the time of this recording, time lapses are a lot easier to edit. It just kind of me doing the commentary over the top is way easier than kind of taking out different parts of the live play and seeing what's relevant or not. So yeah, this is just going to probably be a time lapse, but I do want to get a few things done. Things that I think will make the city a lot more functional, which is always our goal. I always like to be functional first and then focus on like aesthetics second when we have the time. So I know I still need to detail up this area here. That will come. I'm probably just going to do that off camera too, actually, because it'll be a little bit, you don't want to see me just put down trees and stuff for, 20 minutes. So I'll save that for another time. But for today, what I want to do is recently we unlocked the next level of our mining and ore industry. So I want to take some time to expand that and get that all, leveled up so that we can actually start making some glass products. And then we can finally open up our lemonade factory here, which needs glass to run, and we don't have that in production yet. So that's objective number one. Number two is this spot right here. I want to make this into a cargo train station. So I think having that here will be perfect for our little mining area here, and then we can have it link up to this main line so that we can take supplies to and from our connecting cities. And I'm thinking about even trying to fit in another one somewhere, maybe even like over here or something. Just something so we can supply our farming area with some supplies as well. Or that might even end up going over here. That has yet to be determined, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, for now, I definitely do want to get this one built. And then with that being said about our farming industry, we actually just recently leveled up our farming industry as well. So probably going to go in here and do some more expansion and maybe expand, kind of more up into this area here and maybe even across the river. We'll see if I want to save this area for some suburbs or not, but I know I'm going to need another tile here to unlock and expand over here. But yeah, maybe, all the way up across the river here, we will expand our farms as much as we can. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the time lapse. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is lay out the area for this cargo station. And this is something that I've been wanting to build for a long time. It definitely helps level up your industry as soon as you place down your first cargo station, especially if you're near some of the zoned, just regular industrial sites. A lot of those, you'll see them level up to level 2 pretty quick. But in this case, I'm actually not too sure how that's going to go because we don't have a lot of regular zoned industry here. It's mainly just these, the specialized mining industry. But nonetheless, it'll be very important for our imports and exports. And this is kind of this whole area here, I actually wanted to change into more of an industrial area. So that's why I kind of leveled out the terrain and, made a plan for this to kind of expand out in the future. And this is when I realized that I forgot to re-enable my forestry brush mod. I ended up switching to, there's like a newer version on the workshop, and so I switched to it, and then I forgot that you have to actually re-enable it, so whatever. But yeah, so now just kind of figuring out where we want to put this cargo station, and I one thing I don't like is that you can't just lay out the cargo station first and then build your roads to connect to it. You have to have it be placed alongside of a road, so it takes a little bit of extra planning of like, okay, how do I want this to look? And then you have to go back and find your roads and plan your roads out exactly where you want it. But thank goodness for Move It, because that's a huge lifesaver. But either way, it's not too bad, but it's just kind of annoying. But yeah, I do have the railway mod by Revo, which gives some really, really good looking tracks and other, props and assets that really just take, your railroads just to the next level. So if you can, if you have the space and your computer can handle it, mine sometimes still struggles with a lot of mods, as you guys always comment on the frame rate in this game, which, yeah, it's not the best, but you know what, it's good enough for me, and especially in these time lapses, like, who really cares? But yeah, I love the way that the tracks look and the crossings, and you can get, different props depending on the region that you're building in. You can get American props, you can get European, I think there's even Australian set, German, all different kinds of stuff. So yeah, they look really good, and you don't have to download the whole mod. You can just kind of pick and choose what you want. But yeah, so the reason that I am doing what I'm doing here is I wanted to separate sort of my freight lines from my passenger lines to avoid having my railroad network too congested with different types of trains. So I'm gonna run this track. My plans are to run this track kind of parallel to the already existing track that's been built into the map. I want to run that parallel just all through from like end to end of the map. So that way my freight trains are not going to be going into the city, and my passenger trains won't be, taking up the lines for the freight trains. And I think, this is something that I've never actually done, but I think it'll work really well. And we'll see in the future as I expand out the railroad if it actually makes a difference or not. But I think it would, having a separate set of tracks and kind of keeping my freight and passenger lines separate. So now moving back over here, I had some ideas of how I wanted to expand this. And we don't need a ton of expansion right now, because I didn't want to go overboard and place down a bunch of buildings and then not have, enough workers. But given our industrial demand, we definitely need some more. And the jury's still out for me on this, if the industry, specialized industry, actually satisfies your industrial demand. I think that it does, because the workers are the workers, but that's just something that I've always kind of been curious about, and I never really looked into. But I think that it does. And either way, people have jobs, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. But yeah, this is something that, if you have the space, I like to kind of do things like this, just making this whole area sort of using the base game assets for the ore industry, but then kind of combining them into making one larger area. And just adding a few fences and using surface painter to paint down some of this dirt and gravel texture, it really makes a difference. And you can create these large scale industrial areas, and everything seems a little more interconnected. You don't have to just place down the building and call it a day. I like to make these industrial areas, in real life, if you have a big mining operation, it's not just going to be one little plot of land. Like, it's probably going to be a significant operation. So placing all this down, accomplishes kind of that effect. And then the reason that I put down this extra storage facility is because I want to turn this river kind of into maybe like a barge or something in the future. Not that I would get the assets or anything for it, but just, imagining like this river may have been used in an industrial for an industrial purpose. I know that by where I live, there's a river by the oil refineries and the steel mills, and it kind of, there's always barges and stuff, and that's how they actually get cargo in and out. And I know there was a huge expansion at one of the refineries years ago, and to get all the parts in and the new towers and stuff, they actually shipped them on barges across the river because they were literally too big and too heavy to put them on a truck. So it was a huge, I'll tell you about that maybe when we get into the oil industry expansion, which hopefully will be sometime soon. There's a lot that I want to do soon, but anyway, once we get into that, I would like to kind of explain or talk about some of the cool industrial areas kind of by where I live. I live in a really cool place for industry, and there's a lot of jobs over here with the oil refineries and the steel mills and everything, which is something else that I realized we actually unlock at this level, is we can actually place down a steel mill. And I have a cool idea where I'm going to put it and why, and I'll explain that when we get there. But anyway, back to the build. This whole area I kind of start to expand a little bit. I actually don't end up doing too much, just because I was trying to be conscious of time and to avoid making the video, pardon me, the video, not the video, whatever that is, the video too long, I just decided to really focus on getting a nice glass production started and just plopping down a few other industrial buildings around this area to, relieve some of that demand and for some, just some zoned industry. And this is something that, again, I've mentioned before that I like to do, is put down a warehouse for whatever specialty good I'm manufacturing close by. That way it won't go directly to export, which again, I'm not 100% sure how that really functions in the game, but from a realism perspective, and like urban planning, I feel like you would want to have sort of a distribution hub for your specialty goods, and then so they can sit in the warehouse until they're needed at other facilities like this lemonade factory that we're just opening. But yeah, so that's that spot for now, and as you'll see in a minute, I just kind of continue to expand that little area. But I wanted to take a second and kind of talk to you guys about what's been going on in my life. So again, apologies for the lack of uploads these past few days. We're almost at 500 subscribers, so thank you all very much. That is so cool that people are enjoying the content, and I'm definitely going to keep posting videos, so don't give up on me yet. I know I've been kind of MIA, but the problem is my real job. So fun fact of the day about me, I am my full-time job is I'm a financial consultant for a damages and disputes firm. So what we do is we get hired on legal cases and work with attorneys. I'm not a lawyer. The people that I work with at my company are not lawyers, but we provide what's called expert witness testimony, or we issue these expert reports about things related to finance and business and all that kind of stuff. So anything from like intellectual property theft or breach of contract, early terminations where people are involved in lawsuits and need, think that they deserve some extra money, or that, they've been damaged or whatever, and their intellectual property's been damaged or something, and basically anything where money's involved. We help figure out how much money they should make in that lawsuit. And it's a cool job. I really enjoy it. I went to school for finance. I didn't want to be a lawyer, but I always liked law. I remember I took a business law class and I thought it was awesome. I just never really wanted to go to law school, and I didn't actually know that this type of work existed. So and then I found, this job, and I've been here for about 2 years, still straight out of college, but it's a good first job. It's everybody that I work with is awesome, and I really enjoy the work that I do. It's pretty cool. We, work on some cool cases and stuff, and yeah, I really enjoy it. But basically, we're, as of the initial commentary in the video, I recorded that before our case was due, but as of this commentary, I had to wait until after my case was due because I have just been so busy. I mean, even my bosses have said they've never been on a case that's taken up this much time. And, it was Thanksgiving weekend, and I think we had Thanksgiving off because, you have to, it's a holiday, but the Friday after Thanksgiving was also a company holiday, but we had to work. And I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I probably worked 17 or 18 hours that day, which that just never happens. And there were just some reasons and some issues that were going on, and why we needed to put in some extra hours. But, I just obviously had no time to record any videos. I think I maybe played drums for 15 minutes, if I needed a break, and I would go and, eat lunch, eat dinner, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, I was at my computer doing work for this case. So it's finally done. We issued the report, and now I can jump back into some city skylines and actually, build and not have to wait 3 weeks for a video to come out. So, yep, that is that, and that is what I do, and that's where I've been for the past couple weeks. So thank you guys for hanging in there, and now we are back to our regularly scheduled programming, hopefully. But yeah, it's been ridiculous. Anyway, enough about me. Back to the build. So we expanded our mining industry a little bit, and now it was time to go over to our farm industry and expand this. And man, I know I say this like literally every time I'm in this area of the city, but I love the way this area is turning out. I mean, the props, the Podelmo fields, they look so good, and this area just looks really honestly pretty realistic in my opinion. And I'm really happy with how this all turned out, and the fact that we're leveling this area up and putting down some larger scale production facilities. It's really gonna be good for the whole farming area. And then I do want to keep expanding this a little bit north, so to speak, in terms of the map. So like up there towards that interchange, that highway interchange, I just got to get that extra tile. And I think there I was just checking to see if I could unlock it yet, which I cannot. So I got to hit the next milestone. But either way, that's a future problem, and we have more than enough space here to kind of work with. So this spot here, I always struggle, and I think a lot of people struggle with this. You can build and build and build, but like when do you end? Where do you end your city? I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and I've even watching other city builders on YouTube and everything. They all kind of say the same thing as like, yeah, you can build the downtown, and that's easy, right? It's all congested. You just put a bunch, I mean, it's not, maybe it's not easy, but it's like you know where the downtown is, and it's easy to kind of see where the downtown's going to end. But then like, where do you end the suburbs, and where do you end the agriculture, and just like the whole urban impact on the map? Where do you end it? And this is kind of a good spot that I think what I kind of plan this out is like, we have this mountain here, and we have these trees kind of on the hillside, and I just didn't want to build too much up this mountain, and I kind of let those trees sort of dictate where my development was going to stop. And that's why I kind of made that fence sort of at that angle to follow the tree line a little bit more, because that's just going to be probably it right there. I don't think I'm going to expand any more up that hill in that area. And so this will give a nice little transition kind of out of the city. You'll be downtown, and then you'll sort of cross the main road there, and then you're in the farmland. And then it's kind of like after the farmland, the city will, any kind of buildings will slowly trickle out. And then by that top highway interchange, I expect that there's not going to be anything there past that, for our city. So I do know where it's going to end, but that's something that, I challenge you all, if you're building, to really consider, know when to end the city. You don't need to keep expanding and expanding and expanding. Build, kind of work with the space you have, and try to make that work. And then, if you need to expand, then expand. So, and our farming area has reached level 5. So yeah, so we got tons of stuff, and yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't even think I've ever had a level 5 farming area in this game. So I decided to go back and place down some of these new buildings. And yeah, that's, this farming area, like I said, I love it. I do know, as you can see with all these trucks, I had decided to change these silos, I think, to export instead of import, because the trucks, or not import, export instead of balanced, because the trucks were just, there were so many of them that kept coming in, and it was just, that road was super congested, especially with it being only one lane. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that in the future. But here, this is a cool little trick that I have always liked to do. And so since I use vanilla trees remover, I don't, or whatever mod it is, that I don't really care for the vanilla trees, like the ones from the old vanilla trees from like the original game, before the new trees came out. The old ones just never looked that good. So I actually, when I place down these orchard assets, I never have any trees. But what you can do is kind of find like a small tree on the workshop, or even one of the newer trees, and just drag them out in a line over the existing little lines there in the asset, and whatever you want to call it, little dirt rows or whatever. And that will give you a nice little orchard that looks pretty good. And just make sure though that you have the if you're going to do this, make sure you go download the lock forestry mod, because that will prevent the trees from replacing your fertile land resource with the forestry resource. Otherwise it'll be, just you won't have any production from that orchard, because all the land will be forestry instead of the fertilized land. But yeah, coming back to our area here, just decided I'd put down another warehouse. You know, because this is going to be right by a cargo train station. I figured there's going to be quite a few goods coming in and out of this area, and you know, just wanted to kind of prepare for that and have a place where those goods can be stored rather than the trucks having to go all the way and deliver them directly to, you know, the commercial areas or the industrial areas or whatever. You know, that's just kind of something that I like to do. And you know, last but not least, putting down some trees. I love putting down trees. They look awesome. Even in industrial areas, you know, there's still trees in industrial areas. It doesn't have to be a barren, polluted, crappy looking wasteland. You know, you can put down some trees and make it look really good. You know, obviously not overboard, but in this area, you know, there was some open space. So I decided to go ahead and fill that up with some trees. Yeah, and then just going back to this, just kind of figuring out, you know, what I could do to fill in some of this open space. And my answer was, let's just zone some industrial buildings because that will look pretty good. So that about concludes the time lapse, and I will check in with you guys in just a second. All right, guys. Well, that is a wrap on the episode. I think we made a lot of progress. So we have our nice little glass factory here. We can finally get our lemonade factory going. Let's actually see if it's producing anything. And it is. Cool. So we have some unique products coming out of there. So that'll be nice. Make us some more money, which we're not doing too bad. And yeah, we made a significant expansion to the ore industry. Have a couple more production facilities, another big storage facility. And what I want to do here is I want to kind of make this into a like a little port type thing, you know, because I would imagine that there would be some barges maybe floating down here with some goods. And so I think in the future I'm going to raise up all these bridges and kind of make some room, you know, to envision that this river is actually used for the transportation of different goods. So that'll be another project in the future. And then we did a lot of expansion to our farming area. I'm actually really, really happy with how this has turned out, even though this is absolutely insane. I don't know why these guys are, you know what, I kind of don't want to, there's no need to import any of this. So I think I might set these to empty mode, to be honest, because this is ridiculous. Look at all these trucks. They're all importing goods, and I don't need to import anything. I have enough crops to handle, you know, all of my production facilities. So either way, it doesn't matter. We'll wait for this traffic to clear up, but in the meantime, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in the next video, where hopefully I actually don't know what I'm gonna do in the next video. I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe some actually I do have an idea of what I want to do, but oh, what is this? Why is that yellow? I have no idea what's going on here. That is so weird. There we go. I don't know why that looked like that. That was super weird. But anyway, yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video, where hopefully we'll do something in the city. I think I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.